Hello and welcome. In today's video we are going over the legendary Toyota Celica GT4 rally car. If you know anything about rallying, you know why this car is legendary, and it's not for the best of reasons, but we'll get to that in a minute. Now we are so ecstatic to see this car return. This car has been in every Gran Turismo game, from Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec up until Gran Turismo 7, for one exception, which was Gran Turismo Sport. The Toyota has a long running history, and you can see why the fans were very excited to see that this car was returning for Gran Turismo 7. In real life, this car is categorized under Group A. However, in Gran Turismo 7, we only have Group B, and that's where they actually put this vehicle. Now, Group B cars are a lot faster than your usual Group A vehicles. For example, the Audi Quattro Pikes Peak and the Suzuki Escort Pikes Peak. Those are Group B vehicles, and they are insanely quick. Now, the standard Toyota Celica rally car comes with around 385 brake horsepower, which is absolutely no match for any rally car, and you will actually be left in the dust. So the way to combat this, they gave us one single upgrade. Because this is a race car, upgrades are very few, and when I say few, there's none. We only get one upgrade, and that is to the turbocharger. So you are allowed to put a high RPM turbocharger on this car and produce almost 800 brake horsepower, making it a competitor for any rally car in the game. However, if you do want to put it up against the Suzuki Escort Pikes Peak and that's fully upgraded, yeah, you're gonna have a tough time on your hands. So you either need to pull out a miracle or be one hell of a driver. Now let me tell you why this car is legendary, and not for the best of reasons. Now, in 1995, the Toyota Celica was doing a really good job at being competitive in the WRC, getting the drivers up to competing for first place. And in the second to last event of the season, a discovery was made. Because with Rally Catalunya, the cars started off side by side in basically a drag race form. The Subaru, which was in first position, and the Toyota, which was fighting to get first position, lined up next to each other. Now these two cars led off the line, and we saw that there was a noticeable difference, that the Toyota was incredibly faster than the Subaru. Someone basically snitched on Toyota's side because Subaru was starting to ask questions, and the other teams were backing Subaru, because how is it that under the same regulations the Toyota was so much faster? In simple terms, because this is a very technical thing, so every car was supposed to get a power restrictor on the turbo. It sits on the intake side where the air gets sucked in. In the power restrictor, there's basically a hose, and inside that there's a pipe. The pipe basically decreases how much air actually flows into the turbo. Now that's what every team had, but Toyota themselves found a way to cheat. Basically, the couplers that hold the pipe onto the turbo, if you tighten the one closest to the turbocharger, then you will actually see that the restrictor is actually pushed away from the turbo, meaning that more air can actually go around the restrictor and go into the turbocharger. Now this meant that there was a 25% increase of air going into the turbo, which equates to about 30 to 50 horsepower. Keep in mind, these cars have about 300 horsepower, so getting an added 45, 30 horsepower is quite a lot, and that's what caused some eyes to look over to Toyota. This genius made the car incredibly overpowered and just gave it such a competitive advantage over its rivals. And that's also what got them banned. Yes, so all of the points were deducted from the season, and the FIA banned the Toyota team from competing for a whole year. Now, if I have said something incorrect in the comments and you do want to alter what I said, please feel free to let it know. I'm not an encyclopedia. This is just some research I've done. I may have missed or overlooked something, but hey, we all make mistakes. But with this incredible way of cheating, this makes this car have the biggest impact on rallying in such a short period of time, and it wasn't for winning. So that's what makes the impact even bigger. So now in Gran Turismo 7 we get to experience the Celica. Sadly, there are not that many off-road or rally events in Gran Turismo 7. So the majority of the time, if you do want to use this vehicle, you're going to have to use it on circuit, because even some of the rally events with the Group B vehicles are on road. We need more rally tracks in the game, but that's a whole nother story, whole nother video. So the Celica, with almost 800 horsepower, 1200 kgs and all-wheel drive, regardless if there are no off-road events, even on circuit, this car is incredibly quick. Now the level of grip that this car has is actually quite insane. There is no slippage whatsoever. Even with me turning the torque vectoring differential to have 70% of the power get sent to the rear wheels, this car refused to slip. It didn't want to slide. It had such an amount of grip that you hardly see in the game. With a vehicle of this much power and capability, you would think, okay, it's gonna light up the rear wheels, but it doesn't do that. It is able to get you around a circuit incredibly fast. Now the thing is, as I said earlier in the video, if you're gonna look at it compared to the Suzuki Escort Pikes Peak, then obviously there's gonna be a difference. The Suzuki has almost over 1000 horsepower, if I'm not mistaken, weighs 900 kgs. It's completely different to this, because this is still in real life a group below the Suzuki. The Suzuki is literally a tier higher than this car. Its performance levels is literally a level above, so you can't really compare them. Now the Toyota, when you actually get behind the wheel, you don't actually feel the amount of power, because you realize you aren't actually going that far, because it can take corners flat out. I dare you, take any corner flat out, the car will get you around it. I do think, however, if we are looking for a vehicle to compare this to, we need to compare it to its main competition in real life, and that was the Subaru Impreza WRX STI version 2, the 1995 model. Now that car has had an impact on rallying about the same size as the Toyota Celica, but that's for actually winning races. That sounds like I just sent some shots, but honestly, the Subaru would be a perfect vehicle to add, since now we have the Celica, and a lot of people have already been asking for the Subaru. So if we could see the Subaru come to a game, it would be quite a game changer to have both of these iconic rally vehicles in game. So my overall opinion on the Toyota Celica, it's incredibly fast once you add a turbocharger. If you don't add a turbocharger, don't even bother it. Now the car costs 250,000 credits. However, it is in the legendary dealership, so that means if you haven't bought it, then you can't buy it. This car is going to be in a rotation, so the next time that it comes in and is available for purchase is, who knows? No one really knows anymore. So if you don't already own this car, sadly you're gonna have to wait some time. So that's the only real issue with this vehicle, but because of its long history and the impact that it's had on the world, it deserves its place in the legendary dealership. So if it comes back and it's 250,000, it could be 400,000, who knows? With all this being said, Toyota Celica, incredible off-road, incredible on-road. This car can do anything and everything, and it's generally a blast of fun. So with all this being said, if you guys did enjoy this, thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.